Zeroco here, back again with another video, and it's an interesting time. We're gonna do round two of going over some Crucible defenses, and I got somebody here from across the pond. He was a little shy, but now he's not anymore. He is he is a wonderful Brit with a cool Crucible mindset, all over his shoulders and all over whatever the hell he does over there. But he knows how to handle Crucible, and we're going to talk a little bit about the next six rooms for the week. Are how'd you do last week?
Well, first of all, it's nice to be able to be heard after the first week of who's that guy in the background? What's that
Yeah, my
noise?
bad. My bad.
But
My bad. That was me.
me personally, I didn't have the best of Crucible because this weekend I was very busy, doing my own thing because there's a certain something of a weekend going on. So I didn't
Mm.
really pay much attention to it, but I definitely learned a lot. And also, I would definitely say that if I actually properly played it, I with how I set my defense and the offense I had, I could have easily won. I just didn't get time to play it. Slash, I was rushing, and yeah, I just
Ooh.
didn't care to be honest. So
All right. Well,
I was over it.
we got a few we got a few picks here, and we're gonna add another little part for um, having like maybe just a sixth person if you want to change them up or you want to move somebody out if you want to have some fun with them. But it's really up to you. For room one, I mean, Illuminati can go into a lot of places, but room one there's bleeds and stuff, and the generic one with Odin and Squatch, it seems a lot of people can defeat this room. Uh, Pretty sure with the one shot, but every now and then they get tripped up, and then Odin just wipes the opponent's team. And I thought, all right, well, Squatch is there. He does stay around, but my pick for a six would have been Black Knight because he is still super powered. I love him. I believe JPT is more of an offense with Black Knight. Is that what we were hearing before?
Yeah, that after seeing a few things, well, more so new characters being introduced to the game, it's Hori being one of them. To me, he's been a lot more impactful on offense because not just for her or Scroll, there's been other teams, Odin and Armty being one of them. He also does really well against. So to me, I've found so much better use on offense than defense.
All right, room
Um,
two. The spiders team. I mean, they really just go well with the stealth part, but you've recommended using big time.
yeah, just because bit stats, something a bit different, fast as well, so you could potentially flip some buffs on a character, and maybe Noir will mess their day up. But I think it's still easy. It's an easy team. It's more the team to draw a certain team to attack and then actually going to win. I would say so. You can't really go wrong with this room.
I have seen people get wiped out by spiders, even with Secret Defenders Eternals, and it probably was me as one of them, that they went into stealth and then just started knocking out characters because they got that extra damage. And old stats versus old stats plus some extra damage, they can actually do something. If it was against, from old stats to new stats and 20% damage, they probably would have just shook it off and be like, yeah, you're not really doing much, Noir. Go back over there. But it still can mess some people up if you're not paying attention to the fight. And I mean, a six to go here could be Ghost Spider, but I mean, it's an older team. It's not a raid room, and they're really just there. So,
I mean, she has good use because she does put them in stealth as well from her
mm,
passive when they go below 50%. So you, or she's taking advantage of the rune, but I don't know. It's just a way to mix up a little bit. Like big time, he's an interesting character. He definitely could be
mm.
better. 100% could be better, but yeah, something different.
All right, room three. Room three is kind of like Kahori. Just throw Kahori in there, and she could do Kahori things. Um, we've recently found Kahori and Thanos, or anybody that could give her more energy right off the bat. You know, when someone dies or takes a turn, can help Kahori take a couple more turns for her ult, which is what you want to do. And in this room, if you're doing a bunch of ults, it does give speed bar to 80's Kingpin over there, Shadow King, and he is a beast if you do not take care of him right away. Um, and you were suggesting Noir in here too, right?
So there's two things you could do. Either one of first of all, you could make Kahori a healer. So when she does her ult turn one, she clears all vulnerables, and that would help to counter Cabal to come into here. And of course, if say Cabal member dies, and then she can just start popping off, and she'll start doing an ult with combined Thanos. And then also Noir being there as well. If he can now get his speed meter from buffs, he's also going to speed up Shadow King, and it just basically snowballs. So I've never tried it myself, but it's something that seems quite cool on paper. So do you know what? I've always been a big believer. Try something that isn't known, and people get tripped up for it for that way. So screw it. Who knows? Give it a try.
Yeah.
It sounds good.
If not, blame the Brit. Let's do that. We'll just blame JPT for it. That's what we're gonna do.
I mean, we take the blame all the time anyway, so we're used to it. But we're hard. We'd say fuck it. Let's go.
Room 4, Mephisto and Orchids. Orchids is usually a pain to begin with, especially if they're pretty huge. You can defeat them, but Mephisto going in there kind of makes that a little bit harder. So if you don't have anything to one-shot this, you're going to have to double sack it and then go in there. Mephisto basically becomes neutered, but Orchids can still play they could be a big problem if the Scientist Supreme starts snapping off, then Sentinel maps off. If Nimrod starts just doing his special or his ult, you might as well just go ahead and take the ball and go home. For easy 6, even if you didn't want to put in Mephisto, you could try Mysterio. It does give a little more speed to Nimrod once his buddies drop, but they gotta drop for him, and Nimrod's got to stay around. So, any suggestions for this one?
So first of all, I think with Orcus and Mephisto, well, Orcus going with Mephisto is probably the best combination to have if you want Mephisto on offense. On defense. But of course, if you do take out Mephisto and put in something like Mysterio, I did see on some people's combat history that it was a problem, especially in Room 4. So it's definitely a team that has tripped up quite a few different types of teams into it as well. So yeah, it seems to be pretty decent. It's taking advantage of that death of a character that puts out trauma.
Right, Room 5, basically mutants. So throw in the beautiful mutants in there, which is basically extreme rogue. I like Nightcrawler on offense, but for this particular room, I wouldn't mind Nightcrawler going in there, only because then it's gonna force somebody to go, well, do I use Cabal here or there, or crap, which one do I take in Kang too? But Kang's not really doing what he used to, so doing that little psych out could help. But either way, mutants here, even with immunity and the revive, they could still be beat. But if you take your eye off the match for a second, they could come back and wipe you out. Any comments on this one?
It's just a team that just doesn't go away. Because people always say like, yeah, I could beat this, no problem. Go into it, and it's like, oh, I triggered Forge. Damn it, I've lost. And that's why the combination of Forge and Cyclops is good for this room, because if you have got a weak character in that team as well, then when they die, Forge gets 100% turn meter, and then he will do his ult. He'll maybe revive a character if they don't revive after the room rule, and then put all the buffs on, and then you're like, damn it. I messed up. So yeah,
Oops.
that's why I personally think Nightcrawler is better on offense, because he's good in a lot of team comps, and uh, with that combination that you have, without him, it's still a problem. So he's not necessarily needed, but he's a good character to slot in, of course. So either or, I would say.
All right, room 6, giving you a bunch of energy, but also silencing the rest of your team with some ability block if you do an ult, and annihilators also with another pre-taunt, like Jugs or Sticky, just to give them. So hey, you knock off the taunt from Gladiator, you still got to go knock off the taunt from Jugs or Sticky, and hopefully they can resist something. And now you're not able to get to Thanos, you're not able to get to Gore, or either stun him and block him. And Ultimus is just sitting around waiting for somebody to taunt so he can go slap him in the face. So, any comment on this on the last room?
Ultimus is the king. But it's it's one of those it's one of that it's one of those teams that are annoying to face, and even if they are a bit blocked, you got almost his basic is decent. um Gore still does good damage on his basic. Thanos is there to be triggered from his passive, so doesn't really matter what he does. And then say you got the double taunt there, then it just makes it a little bit more complicated to who they're going where. And if Gladiator gets to take a turn, he gets his safeguard and taunt back up, then it's round two of like, oh god, I've got to try and beat this brick wall. So I think it's a fairly standard but decent team to put in. Of course, Annihilators are great with other characters like Sass and Kahori because of the free piece, but
Mm.
if you are using them elsewhere, then I don't know. Because you used this last week, didn't you, with Dorm, I believe, and how did it do?
Dorm was I moved it around with him. Dorm, it didn't do too well with Dorm in 6 because it just, I don't know why it fell apart, but like I said, I think it was having two taunts right there might be the key to letting Gore and Thanos snap off, and might throw them into
Right.
turmoil. Once they get the taunt off of Gladiator, sure, he's a brick wall, but he's a brick wall you can leave over there waiting to deal with. Instead, now you got to deal with another taunter and go, okay, if one of these go, if I can't get rid of it, one of these other annihilators is going to go, and it's going to start having a bad day for me because they're going to get all souped up together, and I can't let that happen. But
Hmm.
two taunters, hey, figure it out, people. Gonna have to worry about that second taunter. And I think I'd use Sticky just so that way I could say Sticky made you mess up again. Just messed you up
He's still
always.
still
Yep.
with us in spirit.
Yep,
So
just messing everybody up, enjoying those few fuck ups during the matches. But all right, well, we got our picks for the week. Also, an additional 6. Um, I'm gonna keep looking for more interesting rooms through the week to see what we change and push around. But you guys got a decent amount of teams to look at, decent amount of suggestions for it. Anything else you wanna add to that, Deputy?
I've got a couple of sneaky teams that I'm trying. So uh, we will be on hold to see if they work well. But apart from that, I personally, um, I like Odin on offense, and I like Mephisto on defense. And my advice would be, I would do either or. So if you want Mephisto on offense, put Odin on defense. If you want Odin on offense, put Mephisto on defense. Because, like I say, what I found when it came to my CC is how I laid out my rooms. I was very happy with. I just didn't get to play it. So hopefully this week will be a different story.
Yeah, I'm gonna see what happens with the defense part going forward with it, and then if I need to make a couple changes with it, it should work. But there were a couple rooms last week where it was just like, oh, they didn't even, they just got up to 40. They couldn't stop it. Even the fact that I believe one of them had Odin and like Scroll on offense, and they lost because of it, because they couldn't get
Hmm.
through one room. So Try stuff out. We're giving suggestions with it. If it messes up, like I said, we could just blame JPT and call it a day. That's what I would do. But
That's what I'm here for.
but I want to thank JPT for jumping on today to talk about CC defenses for the week. I'll put a link to the infographic inside the description there. But like, share, subscribe, send a video, send a comment. I don't care. Dislike the damn thing. That's fine. Or make sure you double press the dislike button. It's always good to double up on shit when you're doing it. But
Double tap.
double tap that button. But until next week, thanks JPT for being around. But I'm rolling out.
Good luck.